Welcome back to another module where we will be diving into the harsh realities of business and entrepreneurship. See, unfortunately, not enough of this is being spoken about because we are enamored by the glitz and the glamour of social media. We see the next shiny penny, the next thing to invest in, the next thing to jump on. But does it really happen that fast? And in this module, I will share 3 harsh realities when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. Now, in no way is this to discourage you, but rather equip you with the reality of what truly it takes. So let's dive into it. Now, before we get into the first harsh reality, I really want to point this out. Did you know that 80% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years? Now, again, this isn't to discourage you, but rather to inspire you that it is hard work. Now, I know social media and the world online promotes and discloses a different style of success. You invest in this crypto, or you purchase this product, or you get this thing, and you just become an overnight success. This couldn't be further from the truth. So when it comes to failing, often what I tell my clients and those that are in the business world is that you cannot fail if you do not quit. Now, that being said, you gotta constantly check in with yourself, check in with your business to figure out where you are at. Are you progressing? Are you going forward, or are you going backwards? Because I don't think enough people do those self-check-ins because it hurts. It challenges the ego. And ultimately, we need to make sure that we are on the right path, but ultimately to keep pushing or pivot. Now, let's get into that first harsh reality. Now, number 1, it's going to take time. Whether you believe this or not, overnight success is rarely out there. Now, I know you probably know of somebody or someone or your favorite influencer that might have had some overnight success. Maybe they got lucky on a crypto. Maybe they got unlucky on an investment. But when it comes to building a business, truly, it does take quite some time. Because I warn individuals this, just as quickly as it goes up, it can quickly come crumbling down. So, it is going to take you longer than it thinks. Typically, that timeline, I like to say double it, sometimes even triple it. So if you think that you can start earning income from your business in the first month or 2, I like to say give yourself a runway of a bit even longer. Now, it's a bonus that I'm going to share near the end, so I want you to stick along to this module till the end. Now, I touched on social media, and honestly, it's a success reel or a highlight reel that isn't always true. Now, I don't want to take anything away from social media because it is an amazing tool and it can be powerful if used correctly. You can use it as inspiration, motivation. You can learn to connect with individuals, ask them hard questions on how they got their success. Now, I will say do not get fully enamored into the social media world because sometimes the truth is not always there. If you know what I mean, people are posting in front of fake cars, fake private jets, they're using rented Lambos. Don't fall into that trap, please, in the early stages. New problems. These take time. I always find it comical that individuals are really hard on themselves, or business owners are extremely hard on themselves when trying to solve a problem for the very first time. I'll give you an example and an analogy that I think can resonate with a lot of people, no matter what industry or business you're in. I see this in the DIY space. Now, I have a background in real estate, and I will often say a lot of individuals struggle with problem solving when it comes to real estate. They pick up a tool, they watch a quick YouTube video, and then they think that they can paint, they can do electrical, they can do drywall, and they are quickly humbled by that it does take a lot longer to solve these problems. Now, see, you watch these individuals do it online and it looks so easy. And for them, it probably is. But what you're failing to see is the countless hundreds, if not thousands of attempts that it took them to solve that problem. Think about something that you did for the very first time. Maybe it was learning to cook. Maybe it was learning how to code. Now, in the beginning, it was very time consuming. You had to do research, you had to do some homework, you had to go figure it out. And when the problem did arise, it wasn't that easy. But once you went through that problem at least once or twice, maybe even 3 times, the next time around that it showed up, you were able to handle it. Now, I will say this, if you are in the intermediate to advanced level of your business, this is where it's great to start delegating. You're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you don't have countless hours to try and figure out every single problem. Now, as you scale and get bigger and have the funds to do so, this is where delegation is going to be so important. Now, that's a topic for another module, so let's get back to the harsh realities. Back to my real estate example. I remember the very first time I bought an investment property. I'm going to age myself, but it was in 2008. And I just thought that I could fix everything in this particular flip. And again, I was quickly humbled that I was really hard on myself. That why could I not figure this problem out? See, we had a water issue in the basement, which then leaked and damaged 10,000 plus worth of real estate in the basement. And I was really hard on myself that I didn't catch that. But I tried to fix it myself and I couldn't. I didn't have the right material, I didn't have the right equipment, and I ultimately didn't have the right skill set. So I leaned on some individuals to help problem solve. So that when the next time it showed up, I was able to mitigate it and solve it that much faster. See, when you're learning something for the first time, allow yourself time to figure it out. It's going to take you a lot longer than a pro will do. Just like communication, just like I'm doing right now. This has been years in the making and countless hours, thousands of hours of professional training. Now, if you struggle with communication, if you struggle with getting good on camera, well, it's gonna suck in the beginning. I hate to break it to you, but that doesn't mean you give up on it. See, it's a skill set that you need to learn and get good at it, but it does take reps. The solution I want to maybe share with this one, this is going to be a little bit more of a mental game when you are dealing with time. Now, how can you make this more seamless and avoid more problems? Well, I like to say, bring it down to its smallest form. See, a lot of times people will focus on the big problem and it becomes too overwhelming and they don't know where to begin. Just start with the next step. So back to my real estate example, as soon as I pulled the drywall off the wall, I quickly realized, oh, we have a massive crack. Now, my first thing was run to Home Depot and try and fix it myself when I quickly realized I don't have the skill set. So sometimes it's just identifying those small little steps. It's like when you're building IKEA furniture. A lot of people can relate to this. You don't just start smacking it together. You actually have to follow the little diagrams. Now, we'll leave that instructions for another day, but sometimes we all get ahead of ourselves. Depending on your personality, I'm guilty of this. I will just start grabbing things and putting it together and wonder why it didn't work afterwards. So sometimes it is just taking that little step back and then assessing it, realizing it, and then making the next move. Harsh reality number 2. People will doubt your work. And I know this one's hard because there's 2, possibly 3 or 4 culprits, main culprits. Number 1 is yourself. You are going to doubt your ability, you're going to doubt your skill set, and you're going to doubt whether you're even doing the right thing. The other one that is a bit of a big doubter, and this kind of catches people off guard, is individuals that are in your circle of influence, sphere of influence, or even sometimes the individuals with the same last name. Yes, I know that is a hard reality to hear. However, I have heard through a lot of clients that parents, siblings, spouses killed more dreams than the actual people in the public. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't take their advice, but we do hold their opinions a lot closer to the chest when it comes to their feedback and their opinion. Now, if you truly believe in your product or service, then you have to deliver it to the world. We are craving it. We are urging you to do so because it could be that next thing that revolutionizes an industry, a business. And I'm sorry, back to my time analogy, it's going to take some time. You have the vision. You're the visionary. Your family, your friends, your colleagues might not see it, and that's okay. My suggestion is you don't have to try to convince everybody of your product or service. The other reason why they sometimes will provide opinions on is it's a projection of the fear that they have themselves. They obviously want you to be comfortable. They don't want to see you fail. Your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, your spouses, they don't want to see you fail because that's painful. And sometimes, not always, that's a projection of their own fear on you. See, sometimes as we age, we have a lot more experience. And with that experience comes more baggage, a lot more failures. I've had a ton of them in my life. And I'm telling you, it creeps into my biases and it creeps into my judgments. And when someone brings me a fresh new idea, yeah, I sometimes will be a little pessimistic, as opposed to maybe if I was 10, 15 years earlier, a little bit more optimistic. Maybe I'd have those rose-colored glasses on. Now, that being said, I will caution this. If you are unsure on how they're going to react, it's okay to keep this quiet. You don't have to go reveal all of your plans to the world just yet. Now, if you are going to do so, just be prepared that the opinions, the hate, the feedback, the comments, the love is going to come full circle. You just have to be ready to handle that. I'll give you a perfect example, and it's going to go back to real estate. Now, in my life, I have got a lot of experience when it comes to sales, public speaking, project management, my past corporate life, and I do have a lot of real estate examples. Now, this can be applied in any business and any endeavor that you are currently in. So I purchased a multifamily property, which is multiple units, and it had been neglected. It had a fire in it, and nobody wanted to touch it. However, my business partner and I at the time wanted to take a chance on it. When we told family, friends, colleagues that we were buying this property, the amount of doubt that crept into our heads was crazy. People said, "Why are you buying a burnt building? Why are you trying to take on something that you've never done before?" I've never done a property that had fire damage, severe fire damage. But here's what's interesting. My business partner and I had just this good gut feeling. And this will be a module for another day, getting over your mind versus your gut feelings. And we just knew that it was the right move. Fast forward a year later, we ended up getting the permits, getting a lot of it done, and we ended up selling it before we completed the project. Another developer came in and bought it off us, and we made pretty good money. See, sometimes you have to just push your fear aside and go after it. I know, it's hard, but I will say, please take calculated risks. If you're going to do a large investment in something, make sure that you've done your due diligence. Now, if it's something minor like I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to get on social media, or I want to become a more prolific public speaker, there's no cost to that. Sometimes you just got to turn the camera on, hit record, and post it. Now, fear and rejection, that's another one for another day. That will come full circle, but we'll touch on that another module. Harsh reality number 3. Get this out of the way. Your motivation will run out. I can promise you that. Now, in the beginning, it's awesome. You're jumping in, you're excited, and you're just ready to conquer the world. And unfortunately, you get slapped around in the face a couple times and things start to go sideways. See, you start questioning yourself, back to the belief system, and you start thinking, did I make the right move? Did I go into the right business? See, this is where I need you to just stop, think about what's going on, and remember why you started it in the first place. Now, this is a module for another day, but we will touch on goal setting. But I did want to start with the harsh reality of business first before we start getting into goal setting. And the reason why is because I feel like so many people quit on their dreams just because they get a couple obstacles along the way. Now, these can be identified as distractions. What's a bag? Big audacious goals. See, we come into this big business or this big idea with huge, lofty goals. But I often tell my clients, start with small, micro wins. See, the big, great goal is awesome. It can be the motivator, but if it's sometimes too big, you feel like you're chasing or you're running in a race that you're never gonna finish. So if you could take that big audacious goal and chunk it down, and honestly, we'll touch on the calendar and goal setting and time management at another module, but sometimes just chunking it down and getting those small wins can lead to a lot of momentum. Now, back to this, the mind games. They will play tricks on you. See, again, even our mind, our brain wants us to be comfortable. They don't want us making mistakes because that makes us look bad. It's hard on the ego and personality. We'll touch on that in another module. Trust me, you're gonna be so enamored by all of this near the end. It's like drinking water out of a fire hose. I'm so excited for all of this. But these mind games will creep in. And what you need to do is just discipline yourself. There's days you are not going to want to show up, whether it's to the gym, whether it's to your sports, whether it's to your business, whether it's doing real estate. But the discipline and the habits are what is going to drive you forward. So the solution for all of this is building great habits. Because these are what will keep you on track. I'll give you an example that everybody can relate to. One habit that you will not skip out on is brushing your teeth. Maybe after 3-4 days, I'm telling you, your brain, your body is going to start screaming at you, brush your teeth. The reason why is because you've built this habit since you were a child. You did it multiple times a day, every day, for the past 10, 20, 30, 50 years. It's a habit so ingrained that you don't even need to think about it anymore. Now, for those that are looking to get started in the gym or start eating cleaner, I'm going to share an example that is near and dear to my heart. See, I'm not a big firm believer in New Year's resolutions, but in 2020, near the end of it, I was a little demotivated. I wasn't in the shape that I wanted to be, and I just said I was tired of the gyms getting open and closed and this and that because of you know what. Now, I just said I'm going to work out every single day in 2021. No excuses, whether it's in a gym, go for a run, or find a gym that is potentially open. I said no more excuses. Fast forward, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to get the feedback, the opinion, the people to say, oh, your body needs rest. Oh, you need to do that. And you know what? Within that year, after the calendar rolled back another year, I then announced it to the world. Yes, I completed that 365-day habit of working out every single day. Now, I do not say that to impress you, but to rather impress upon you that I built in such great habits. But I didn't fixate on what time I was going to work out. I just said in a 24-hour window on that day, I have to work out. So it allowed for flexibility in my schedule. And here's what's so crazy about this. We are in 2025, and that habit is still going. Yes, it is even hard to even express that, but it is crazy what a habit can do. To me, I treat the gym, treat fitness like I treat brushing my teeth. I just know I'm going to do it every day, hell or high water, and I'm going to show up. So you can apply this into your business, you can apply this into whatever you're trying to scale, grow, or develop. Focus on those daily habits. They are what will drive you forward, especially when motivation is long gone by the wayside. Now, as we conclude these 3 harsh realities, I did want to give you a bonus. And I will touch on this a little bit, but it will come in another module. When to quit. And before I say what, not quitting on your business, but when to quit the rat race. See, I had the golden handcuffs. I was in a very lucrative company that got paid very well. I had the pension, the benefits, and honestly, job security until the day I retired. I promise you that. And I walked away from it. But I decided to quit after I knew that my other businesses were at a place where I could survive. Now, if you're in that world right now where you're a corporate employee and you really want to go all in on your business, well, here's the other reality is that you still need that company to pay your bills, but it is going to come down to time management. You might have to give up your weekends as you are building and scaling your business. You are going to have to do them simultaneously. And what I will tell you is whatever your financial runway is, don't quit your day job just yet. Allow it to fund your business and your lifestyle while you're building it. I will touch on that in another module in greater depth, but I just really wanted to get you guys started on there is some harsh realities when it comes to business. But again, not here to discourage you, but rather to encourage you, motivate you, and get you prepped for when the inevitable does happen. I'll see you in the next module.